De International Criminal Tribunal for Former Yugoslavia is now in session. L'audience Tribunal Penal International pour l'ex-Yougoslavie est ouverte. Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. I noticed that Mr. Mladić is here as the next witness. For the record, I note that the start of the proceedings for today has been delayed by 15 minutes upon the request of counsel for Mr. Mladić. Also, for the purpose of the record, I would like the counsel for Mr. Mladić to introduce himself.
Good morning, Your Honors. I'm Branko Lukic, and today I'm here on behalf of Mr. Mladić.
Good morning to you, Mr. Lukic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we proceed with Mr. Mladić's testimony, by way of introduction and background, the Chamber briefly notes the following. The accused in this case, Mr. Karadžić, filed a motion for subpoena for Mr. Mladić on the 18th of April 2013. On the 5th of July 2013, the Chamber informed the parties that it would postpone the determination of this motion until such time as the Appeals Chamber issued its decision on Zdravko Tolomir's appeal of this Chamber's decision, compelling Tolomir to testify in this present case. On the 13th of November 2013, the Appeals Chamber issued its decision with respect to the Tolomir appeal, in which it denied Tolomir's appeal and held that the protection against self-incrimination afforded to the tribunal's accused persons, pursuant to Article 21, subsection 4 of the tribunal's statute, does not preclude the possibility of accused persons being compelled to testify in proceedings which do not involve the determination of the charges against them. On the 11th of December 2013, the Chamber issued its decision on the subpoena motion, finding that the requirements for the issuance of a subpoena to Mladić had been met, and that Mladić's submissions relating to his ill health and his commitments to his own case did not rise to a level that the Chamber should exercise its discretion against issuing the subpoena. On the 23rd of December 2013, the Chamber denied Mladić's request for certification for leave to appeal the decision to subpoena Mladić, and on the 22nd of January 2014, denied the prosecution and Mladić motions for reconsideration of this certification decision. Now I turn to Mr. Mladić.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, for interrupting you. I know this is not usual.
Yes, Mr. Lukic.
I informed your staff that I would kindly ask Your Honors to allow me just several minutes to address Your Honors this morning before the testimony of Mr. Mladić.
By all means, Mr. Lukic. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you. As Your Honor just read, we filed several motions to prevent Mr. Mladić from testifying. And this time I will just briefly try to add several new points and emphasize some of the most important topics. In our view, Mr. Mladić cannot and does not want to testify because of his poor health. Upon the advice of ourselves as counsel, he hereby invokes his right not to testify, due to the unfair prejudice and harm that would be result from said testimony, not only to his health, but to the rights afforded to him in his own case. We have been told by medical experts, among other things, that he suffers from deception of memory. This is a category of memory disorder, meaning that someone cannot differentiate between the truth and fiction because they are confident they speak the truth even if not doing so. Because of gaps in their memory due to the damage caused by the stroke or other injury, they make up facts to fill up the holes and believe these facts are the truth. We believe this renders Mr. Mladić unfit to testify as a witness. In addition, 2 defense medical experts and 1 of 3 experts appointed by the registry have concluded he is at risk of transient ischemic attack if exposed to stress. We believe this too makes it inappropriate and harmful for him to be forced to testify. We ask that Mr. Mladić be examined by a team of experts who would determine his medical condition and if he were able to testify. Due to his poor health condition, Mr. Mladić is not able to read and analyze the documents with his attorneys, which is necessary in order to prepare for his testimony. Moreover, he is not able to concentrate and analyze a single document. If he were able to testify, he would testify in his own case. But because of his poor health, he cannot do that. His indictment, as you know, is almost identical to the indictment of Mr. Karadžić. His trial is still ongoing, and no one can force him to testify at his own trial. Forcing him to testify in this case is the nullification of his right to remain silent. It is our humble position that by this procedure, the tribunal violates his basic human rights. And at the end, I just want to thank you once again for letting me to shortly express our views on this topic. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lukic, for your submission. If the parties would make any observation with regard to the submission of Mr. Lukic. First, Mr. Robinson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I believe that you have already ruled on all of these issues that have now been placed before you. And I would note that Dr. Karadžić believes that General Mladić is the one person in the whole world who knows best what happened during the war in Bosnia. And this is Dr. Karadžić's front line right here between the prosecution and him. And he is asking General Mladić to do his best to help him show the truth of what happened during the war. Because for Dr. Karadžić, he believes he's fighting not only for his own freedom, but for the continuity and existence of the Republika Srpska. And so he realizes it's difficult for General Mladić, that General Mladić is not well, but he asks him to do his best and to give the best testimony he can give here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Yes, Mr. Tiger.
Mr. President, let me begin by noting that in our submission, Mr. Robinson's position borders on, if not spills over into an inappropriate pitch to a witness that would not, in normal circumstances, be countenanced. I think the court is aware of the prosecutor's position on this matter. I think it was expressed fairly clearly in our motion for reconsideration. As Mr. Robinson has noted, these issues have been submitted and ruled upon. I leave it to the chamber whether or not Mr. Lukic's submissions add anything to the court's analysis upon which its position earlier rested, but we would otherwise have nothing to add to our earlier submissions with which the court is thoroughly familiar, I believe.
Mr. Lukic, with respect to your points with regard to alleged violation of Mr. Mladic's right, the chamber is of the view that the issue has been sufficiently dealt with in our previous decisions. And with respect to the health issue, while the chamber notes your submission, but finds that a further independent medical assessment is not required at this stage. In its decision granting the motion to subpoena Mr. Mladić and denying the motion for certification, the chamber was satisfied that it had sufficient medical information before us in deciding that Mr. Mladic's health concerns didn't rise to a level that would warrant the chamber exercising its discretion not to grant the subpoena. And there's nothing to suggest that there have been new developments since then which would warrant a further medical assessment. Therefore, we deny the request. But the chamber, of course, notes that it is amenable to suggestions as how to organize today's and tomorrow's sitting schedule to address any health concerns Mr. Mladić may have. And we deal with his right as it rises. In particular, his rights pursuant to Rule 90E and Article 21. Now I turn to Mr. Mladić. Mr. Mladić, would you kindly rise and make the solemn declaration, please? Mr. Mladić, do you hear me in the language you understand?
čujem.
I do. Mr. Kwon?
Thank you. Will you make the solemn declaration?
Gospodine Kwon,
Mr. Kwon, ladies and gentlemen, as for this Hague Tribunal, this court, I cannot stand it, and I do not recognize it, and I cannot testify before it. I cannot take an oath, because this is pressure against me as a person, against my health, against my people. These continue to be sanctions, and things have really been brought to an end. I kindly request that you give me the following possibility. With all due respect to President Ratko Karadžić and the efforts that he made and has made for the salvation of our people, and I contributed somewhat to doing some good, I wouldn't want this trial to fail, so I would like to ask you if you have the possibility and the time to hear me out. I wrote 7 pages last night before St. Sava's Day. Today is St. Sava's Day, so if you don't mind, I would like to read that out. And after that, I can take an oath. I do not recognize this Hague court. It is a NATO creation. It is a satanic court, not a court of justice. And it is trying us because we are Serbs, because we protect our people from you. It is not.
Mr. Mladić, I'm cutting you off. Please be seated. I will consult my colleagues.
dobro. Zubi. Mister, zubi. Zaboravio sam zube, jebote. Brže, traži.
Mr. Mladić, as you know well, we have our rules in which our proceedings should proceed. So I would recommend you again to take the oath and answer the question, if you will, to the questions posed by Mr. Karadžić. We will not allow you to read out the documents.
Ja molim da mi dozvolite
I kindly ask that you allow me to read out not a document, but my statement that you will be interested in.
Mr. Mladić, I must let you know that willful refusal to comply with the terms of subpoena may constitute contempt of the tribunal, which is punishable after the 1st of July 2013, pursuant to Rule 90 of the Rules of Mechanisms for International Criminal Tribunals, by a term of imprisonment not exceeding 7 years, a fine not exceeding 50,000 euros, or both. So I will ask you for the last time. Will you take the solemn declaration, Mr. Mladić?
vi ste, gospodine Kwon, mlađim pod...
Mr. Kwon, you are considerably younger than I am. You are exerting pressure against me for no reason whatsoever. I'm not afraid of anyone but God. My conscience is clear with regard to all matters. Your subpoenas and your platitudes at the Hague Tribunal and your false indictments, I don't care one bit about any of that. I don't want to tire these people over there and all of you. I am going to make this statement, but I do not recognize your court, the Hague Tribunal. It does not exist for me.
To you, Mr. Lukic, it's clear that Mr. Mladić is refusing to testify.
He's
Ne, ne,
willing
ja
now
ću se
to...
No, I am going to testify.
Very well. Please proceed.
Nemojte biti nervozni, gospodine.
Don't be nervous, Mr. Kwon. You're from Korea. Bells of alarm are ringing there, too. I solemnly declare that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And could the security people please bring my teeth from the cell so that I could speak better?
Yes, the registry will take care of it. Do you like to have a short adjournment?
Da, da.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Apparently it seems okay, but I will turn to you as well, Mr. Lukic and Mr. Mladić. If it is not possible for you to speak without denture, we'll rise for some time, because I was told that you left your denture at the detention unit.
Da.
But
Yes.
testify when denture arrives.
Da, da.
Yes, yes. Yes. Because I haven't got any teeth now.
Yes, the chamber is of the view it's better to rise for 15 or 20 minutes in order to understand them better. We'll have a break for 20 minutes and resume at 10 o'clock.
All rise, we even